Anyone who's ever worked on a software project knows that feeling, right? That little bit of chaos when a critical bug pops up right before a deadline. Well, today we're going to demystify the tool that turns that chaos into order, Jira. And we're going to do it by following the journey of a single bug, from the moment it's found to the moment it's fixed. So, picture this. You're testing the latest version of your app, and bam, the whole thing just crashes. The big release is tomorrow. This isn't just a bug, it's a showstopper. Your first instinct? Probably panic, right? But for the most organized teams out there, the next step is clear, calm, and totally collected. And for literally thousands of the world's best software teams, we're talking everyone from nimble startups to giants like NASA and Spotify. The answer to that "now what" question starts in one place: Jira. It's the command center where all that chaos gets turned into a clear, actionable plan. But before we dive into all the nitty-gritty of tracking bugs, let's just take one step back. We all hear the name Jira thrown around all the time, but what is it really? At its heart, Jira is a project management tool from a company called Atlassian. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like the central nervous system for a software team. It's the single place where every single piece of work, from a tiny little bug fix to a massive new feature, is planned, tracked, and ultimately released. So what's the big deal? Why is it so popular? Well, it really boils down to a few key things. First off, it's just incredibly adaptable to how your team already works. Plus, it's built from the ground up to support modern agile methods, whether you're using Scrum with its short work cycles or Kanban, which is all about visualizing workflow. It also plays nice with all the tools developers already love, like Bitbucket and Jenkins. And as we're about to see, its bug tracking and reporting dashboards, absolutely second to none. Okay, so we've got the basics down. Now let's see this thing in action. We're going to follow the complete lifecycle of one Jira ticket, starting from the exact moment our show-stopping bug is found. First things first, you got to get that bug out of your head and into the system. So the QA engineer who found it hits that big create button, they choose bug as the issue type, and then they get to the most important part, filling in all the details. And this right here, this is the anatomy of a perfect bug report. A clear summary saves everybody time, but the description, that's the real MVP. It's got to be a step-by-step guide for a developer to see the bug with their own eyes. A high priority makes sure it gets the attention it needs, and assigning it to a specific person creates accountability. No more, "Oh, I thought someone else was looking at that." So our bug is now officially in the system. But a single bug, even a big one, is just one tree in the forest. Now we need to zoom out and see how it fits into the team's bigger plan, using this approach called Agile. Okay, so in the Agile world, you don't try to build the whole thing at once. You break it down. And at the very top of that hierarchy, you've got something called epics. An epic is a really big feature, like improve user authentication. It's a huge goal that's going to take a lot of smaller steps to achieve. Then, you break those big epics down into user stories. A user story is super specific and written from the user's point of view. Like, as a user, I want to log in using social media. It's a small, self-contained piece of work that the team can finish in a short period of time, which we call a sprint. And finally, stories get broken down into tasks. These are the nuts and bolts, the specific, actionable steps. And our show-stopping bug fix? Yep, that's a task. It's a concrete piece of work that needs to get done to make sure the bigger story is successful. All right, this is where it all comes together. During a meeting called sprint planning, the whole team looks at this giant to-do list called the backlog. And because our bug is a blocker, a real emergency, it gets pulled right from that big list into the sprint backlog. And that's basically the team's promise. We're fixing this in the next sprint, no matter what. The plan is set. The bug is officially on the to-do list for this sprint. Now the real fun begins. Let's follow this bug on its journey across the team's workflow, from to-do all the way to done. So every bug ticket has its own little life story. It starts out as open, just sitting there in the backlog, waiting for a hero. Then a developer grabs it, assigns it to themselves, and boom, it's in progress. Once they've worked their magic and the fix is coded, it moves to in review. This is where the QA team comes back in to test everything and make sure the fix actually works. And finally, once it gets the green light, it's moved to closed, bug squashed. And you see how everyone has a clear job here, right? The QA engineer is kind of like the detective. They find the bug, describe it, and then later, they're the ones who verify the fix. The developer is the surgeon. They go in, implement the code fix, and move it along. And the project admin? They're the architect, customizing this entire workflow so it fits the team perfectly. So our bug is fixed. Awesome. That's one small victory for the team. But what about the war? What about the big picture? How's the whole project doing? This is where Jira really shines, giving you that 30,000-foot view. I mean, every project manager wakes up wondering the same thing. Are we on track? Jira dashboards are the answer. Think of them as your project's mission control, a collection of real-time charts and graphs that give you an instant health check. And one of the most powerful tools you'll see on a dashboard is the burn-down chart. It looks kind of complicated, but it's actually super simple. That gray line, that's your ideal path to the finish line. The blue line, that's your actual progress. As long as the blue line is hugging the gray line, you're golden. But if you see that blue line starting to float upwards, that's your early warning signal that things might be slipping behind schedule. And you can also have simple, super effective visuals like this donut chart. In like 2 seconds, anyone, your boss, a stakeholder, anyone, can see the overall status of all the bugs in the project. It's a health check you can read at a glance. Okay, one last key metric for you: velocity. By tracking how much work the team actually gets done in each sprint, you can figure out their velocity. It's basically your team's average speed. And why does this matter? Oh, it's huge. Once you know your team's velocity, you can make way more accurate predictions about future projects. It's the closest thing you'll get to a crystal ball in project management. But at the end of the day, Jira's just a tool. It's an incredibly powerful tool, for sure, but it's still just a tool. It gives you the map, it gives you the data, but it can't replace the most important part of any project: a great team. What it does do is empower that team, enabling clear communication and focused collaboration. So when you think about it, a tool like Jira provides the map. It brings that order to all the potential complexity. The only question left? Well, it's a human one. Where are you going to lead your team?